The audacity, the audacity of a person to think that they have any particular rights to me through name, number, contact of any kind or conversation is beyond assumptive abuse. Assumption is a growing and increasingly used abuse, form of abuse, uh, or abuse tactic that many people aren't even aware that they're doing. Peace and love, beautiful beings. It's your girl Danae coming to you with a really quick message. Um, welcome or welcome back. I am Denitria, the Revolutionary Mystic. Hope all is well with y'all. Listen to me. There's a message that came through. So yesterday I was at the park and I was supposed to be meeting some people at the park. And when I got there, they weren't there. And it was a guy who saw me kind of looking around, and he said, "Hey, is this your first time at the park?" And I was like, "No, but I'm waiting on some people." But I said I was supposed to be meeting some people here, but I guess they're not here. And he says, "Oh, okay." And I say, "Thank you," and I walk off because I'm pretty good about reading a person's energy. Didn't want to be near him because I knew what it was going to be about. So I walked maybe 200, 300 feet away, to the other side of the park. And he, a few minutes later, walks over to me, 123 on the clock. It's 6:06 on the time. He walks over to me. Um, he walks over to me and he says, "Hey, I was just curious." He said, "Are you from here?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, what's your name?" And I said, "Why?" And I said, he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Why?" And he said, "Oh," and he's like, he like immediately was like he was offended or like I had said something, and he was just like, "Oh, okay, well, you have a good day," and like he backs back and walks off. And a few minutes later, or not a few minutes, a few moments later, like maybe 30 seconds passed, and he was just like, he said, life isn't so fun when you're that miserable, or something to that extent, like basically calling me miserable. And I just kind of laughed at myself, and I didn't even entertain him. And then he walked off. And this message came to me in that moment, like rejection. So many people, when they feel as though they're being rejected or when they're not receiving what they perceive they should receive, right? When they are not receiving the grace, the kindness, the acceptance, the whatever. When people see that they're not receiving what they're supposed to be receiving, they think that it's a personal attack. And I'm here just to give you this real quick, this real short, this real divine message here. It is not a personal attack to you, 303 on the clock. It is not a personal attack to you when a person says no to you. It is not an attack on your manhood or your womanhood when someone says no to you. It is not meant to minimize your manhood or your womanhood, your sisterhood, your brotherhood, your family, your friend circle, your whatever, when someone says no to you. When someone says no to you, that is just one step closer to your yes. That is one step closer to where you're meant to be, where you're supposed to go, 333 on the clock. When you are being divinely guided, right? And when you allow yourself to be divinely guided, rejection isn't even who Holy Spirit said in that moment, it was like, what was the message? Rejection does not make you a reject. Somebody take a minute and take that in. Rejection does not make you a reject. So many people get rejected or get told no about something and immediately begin to feel like a reject. 411 on the clock. But I'm here to tell you, baby, you are not a reject. Rejection doesn't make you a reject. Being told no doesn't make you a reject. Being told no doesn't mean that you're being attacked. Being told no doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. Being told no doesn't mean that something is not going to happen that's supposed to happen. Everything that is divinely in alignment that's supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen is already aligned to happen. So forth and so long as you continue to do your part. Do you understand me? Um, but anytime, and this is the most important part, and I'm about to get ready to get off of here, y'all. When you are rejected in any form, right? Any form, right? we a lot of times tend to think that that means that we're undeserving. We think we're undeserving of love. We think we're undeserving of peace. We think we're undeserving of kindness, of whatever it is. We think that we automatically assume that we're undeserving. We automatically assume that we're undeserving. And then that there comes this space of people, a lot of people having the audacity to assume, yeah, a lot of people have the audacity. A lot of people be heavy on the audacity of a person to think that they have any particular right to you. Um, the the audacity to think that they have any particular right to you. If you want someone's number, their email, or any form of contact from these people, if you want to work for a person, if you want to go somewhere and travel, if you want to do anything that requires someone else's assistance, guidance, help, or support, and these people tell you no, right? You 616 on the clock. You cannot operate in the audacity 611 down 611. You cannot operate in the audacity. You must have the audacity to know that everything that is for you, and nobody can stop the show. Nobody can stop the show. I had this conversation, and I'm about to get out for here for real, y'all. So I had this conversation recently with someone. Someone, there was this lady who invited me to um, unhoused. It was like a coalition meeting panel thing, and she wanted me to speak on the panel. And she felt a way because previously, a few growths earlier, I didn't tell her where I laid my head right at night, and she felt like that was like. Um, she felt as though it was a personal attack. Like she had the audacity to think that I was obligated to tell her about personal information pertaining to me. And so she had the audacity to think that um, that I was wrong, and she carried that in her energy. And so every time I saw her for like an entire cycle straight, she kept mentioning it, re-mentioning it. And so she mentioned something about the panel to me, and she told me, she said she was inviting me to the panel, even though a lot of people didn't want me there, even though certain people were fighting against it. And I simply told her, I said, every room and every space, every place that I'm meant to be in, I will be. Every table I'm meant to be at, every chair I'm meant to sit in, every environment I'm meant to go to, every stage I'm meant to present on, every place that I'm meant to be in, I will naturally and divinely be in those spaces. I said, so whether or not you invite me, I said, whether or not I'm put in those spaces, I said, I'm going to be 8:08 on the clock. I'm going to be exactly where I'm supposed to be. And me telling her that disturbed her even further because in her head, she convinced herself, 818 on the clock, she convinced herself that she was the, that she had some type of rights to me and what happens in my life. She thought she convinced herself, right? Or her ego, her pridefulness convinced her, right? And that's what that toxic audacity will do to you. She convinced herself, she allowed herself to be played through her ego. And she allowed herself to believe that she had any control. And so of course I never made it to the panel, right? But as I said, every space where I'm meant to be, I will be. I wasn't supposed to be at that space. And any space where I'm supposed to be, that anyone purposely tries to keep me away from, because divine order will always realign itself. So I want to get on here and share that message with y'all. Um, I just want to get on here and share that message with y'all. Nobody has the rights to you, and you don't have the rights to anyone. Everything is operating and flowing in divine order, in divine law, period. And if you're wanting or desiring anything outside of that, you need to really look at yourself and ask yourself why. What do you need to do within so that you can stop desiring without? Peace and love, beautiful beings. It's your girl, Denitria, the Revolutionary Mystic. Until next time, deuces. I love you. I love you. I love you. Whew.